Do you think like an entrepreneur? Why is that important? And what if we're not an entrepreneur? Do we need to really think like an entrepreneur? Well, I'm here to say, yes, you do, because as we think like an entrepreneur, that's how we attract into our lives exactly the things that we want. So whether you are in business for yourself or if you're not, entrepreneurial thinking will get you really far in life. So let's look at this. Thoughts are very powerful, and thoughts are omnipresent. They're always around us. They are in the ether. They're there for us to pick up. And those thoughts become things. So we have these thoughts floating around, and you can just take out the air which ones you want, and you can start to develop an idea of something you want. And that's how everything is made. Everything is made first from a thought that somebody comes up with. So you think of an entrepreneur like an Elon Musk, and you think of how they thought of an idea, and then they figured out and developed it. That's what every musician does. That's what every artist does. That's what every inventor does. They're solving a problem, and they get a thought, and then they figure it out. Well, we can do the same thing. It's not just for certain people. We all have that thought process. The thing we have to do is, once we get that idea, is to keep focused on it. Now, we have these 6 intellectual faculties within us. One of them being the imagination. That's where our thought comes in, and we get those ideas and we start thinking about them, and we bring them and we hold them with focus with our will. And that's just how much ability do we have to concentrate on an idea and to keep focused on that idea. Now, for many people, this is a problem, because if it doesn't exactly come into being immediately, we tend to dismiss it and say, oh, well, that's not a very good idea. Or if we get this idea, but we're like, I don't know how to even do that, then we dismiss it. And so we tend to dismiss most of the ideas that could actually develop into something great. And I remember talking to 2 different friends of mine, and they were talking about things that they had thought about inventing. In fact, one person had actually invented it, and then he stopped. And that was the end of it. And pretty soon, somebody else had the same thought, invented it, made millions. I remember listening to Napoleon Hill talk on a recording that they had done years and years ago, of course, because he's been gone since, I think, in the 1960s. But there was a recording, and he said one time when he was giving a talk, that somebody else came up to him with all these disheveled pages all over the place and had that same idea as Napoleon Hill did in his very famous book, Think and Grow Rich. What was the difference? That guy had papers. Napoleon Hill actually put it together and did something with it, got it published, did talks. But that other guy may have had the same thoughts, the same ideas, but he didn't do anything with them. See, those thoughts are there, but we must take action. Action is so key if we're going to increase the way we want. So keep focused, get the idea, keep focused on it. Realize that even things that are in your thoughts, they're invisible to us in our vision at the time, but that has the power to change. And so if you can hold it in your mind, then you can hold it in your hand. That's what Bob Proctor used to always say. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Meaning that if you have that vision and you're given that vision, you're also given all the ability to acquire it. You're never given a vision you don't have the ability to acquire. Now, that doesn't mean you will acquire it. It means you have the ability. Might mean that you have to develop a new talent or to develop a new skill, but you have the ability. And it's your choice. You see, life is a choice. It's just lots of choices. It's your choice whether you develop that skill and talent you need. And this is again why so many people stop, because there is a roadblock in front of them. But I guarantee you, if there's a roadblock in front of you, there is a way above it, below it, around it, through it. You can figure it out. Well, most people, when they get that roadblock, they feel that they've failed. No, you have not failed. It's just that you don't understand that the path you chose wasn't the right one. And you may need to find a new path. See, success is never a straight line, never, ever, ever straight line. And while it may seem that some people make success a straight line, I guarantee you, if you really talk to them and find out all the things that went wrong and all the things they had to change and all the things that did not work out the way they intended, you will find it was not a straight line for them either. But we see people at their highest point of success and we say, oh, so easy for them. I guarantee you, it's not easy for anyone. There's been struggles, and honestly, it's your mindset that can make it easier or more difficult for you. And if you have that entrepreneurial mindset going into it, knowing that you have to have a growth mindset, you have to be willing to grow and change, and you have to be willing to take a risk, and you have to be willing to persist and have perseverance and go through those challenges, then that's the entrepreneur.